No writers were harmed in the production of this podcast.
I'm Gregg Podolski, and this is my writer's Dossier.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Writer's Dossier Podcast, and it is this special episode tonight. I have another rotating co-host, a dude who I really trust, good guy, T.R. Hendricks, author of The Instructor. Tim, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
I have two copies here, and this one is not signed. This one is when we first met at Thriller Fest, New York City, a couple years ago.
There you go.
Thank you, my friend.
Outstanding. I guess that second copy was that uptick in sales that I saw recently.
That was the bump. Tim is joining me tonight for a super fun episode. I know this is going to go off the rails real quick, so let me get this out of the way. The Recruiter, Gregg Podolski, everybody. You know him.
And the myth, the legend, the hair.
Thanks for joining us, Gregg. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it. I think there should be some kind of giveaway for that extra copy of the Instructor that you have from Tim.
We're already ad-libbing, and we're not even
how you
2
want to
minutes
run
in.
that. Your best Jeff impersonation. Your best, But
I love this idea. Okay. Copy of The Instructor, this Derek Harrington book, and I don't know how I remember character names. Like, I'll forget, who was that? So I have nicknames for writers, but characters I remember. Derek Harrington, I remember reading this on my way back from Thriller Fest, and I was like, oh my, this is amazing. So, yeah,
great book.
We will come up with something by the end of the episode as a giveaway.
Yeah, and I'll do, since I can't sign that copy that you'll give away, I'll do, a personalized letter to whoever the recipient is.
Making shit happen right off the bat.
We'll merge the things,
And I think Jeff should absolutely just sign it Timmy, real big across the bottom. And you have
Timmy!
the letter from the real man, and you have Timmy.
Damn you, Podolski.
Okay, so before I forget what we're doing here, we have Tim Hendricks. He is going to contribute in a big way, but before this starts into a comedy routine, who's getting their way out of a tough situation? The cleanest or safest way possible, guys. Gregg's Rick Carter, by running his smart assery, or Tim's Derek Harrington and his blow everything up and kill everybody style. Gregg, we're going to throw that to you first. Who gets out of a tough situation?
Who gets out of a tough situation?
Cleaner?
Easier, Rick, or
Cleaner,
Derek?
cleanest and easier.
Oh, well, cleaner's the key word there, because Derek's going to leave a mess.
Yeah. I second that, yeah.
See, the cleaner part gives the edge to Rick. But in any other situation where manliness is involved, it's Derek all day long. So
I was going to say, cleanest and easiest with these two characters isn't necessarily the best, because I feel like Rick is going to get out cleaner. Derek is going to get out easier, just from their backgrounds and pedigrees. But I'm totally with Gregg that Derek is going to kill something 6 times before it hits the floor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there's going to be a puddle afterwards. So, whereas Rick has got that sass and that way to kind of see all the angles and work that charisma, or that riz, as the kids like to call it now.
Rick Carter, the Rizzler.
I'm going to drop the word Riz,
Riz,
just to make my 17-year-old daughter cringe when she watches this.
It's Rick Riz Carter from now
there
on,
we go.
Rick Riz.
Rick Riz.
Adventures of Timmy and Rick Riz.
That is.
I think we have a children's series coming, Tim.
That is so sus.
Watch these writers torpedo their career on the writer's dossier.
It's my lifetime goal here. We're 6 episodes in and we're deplatformed.
The one thing our content screams is, let's take this to children.
%. I mean, if the Nickelodeon logo isn't on top of both of our books, what are we both doing?
If there wasn't copyright, I'd slap Disney all over the place.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't get sued, Jeff. I mean, come on. They'll crush you.
It's okay. I've got your address on my website. All right. Greg, with your first-person account of all the things Rick Carter is up to in The Recruiter, I was wondering, you're a corporate headhunter. Mm-hmm. You both are devastatingly hilarious. How differently does Rick handle himself from how you would handle yourself in similar situations?
So for the record, I thought you were going to say handsome after the word devastatingly. I'm a little disappointed now, but
kind of I
hilarious.
comb my hair and
probably
everything for today.
more accurate. It's funny. So the way Rick and I handle ourselves, we both default to humor. The difference being I do it just as the course of my normal day. Rick does it as a way to get out of intense situations and try to cope with that. And that's actually one thing that I found was really nice when I was doing this, and I would hear other authors like Tim, who comes from a background of seeing some intense shit in his background in the military. And I've heard cops talk about it, that humor isn't just something that you see in fiction. Like, it's in the movies and it's in the books, but it's there for a reason, because guys in that situation, that's how you get through it. And so it was kind of nice to know that I was sort of a little bit realistic in the book that otherwise is very hyper reality. But that's the biggest thing, is that we're both just going to default to kind of making a wise ass comment and trying to talk our way out of something versus, actually throw hands over anything, because that's not going to end well for either one of us.
Tim, does Derek Harrington use very much humor to get out of a sticky situation?
I'd say Derek is a little more on the kind of gruff and straightforward side of things. He's a little
Scorched earth,
more,
is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, scorched earth is a good way to put it. No, I mean, there's definitely one-liners in there, just to kind of what Greg alluded to, like that dark, cynical humor. All the Marines out there in the world, with Derek being a Marine Corps veteran, they can speak to it. Any service member can speak to it. Any cop, fireman, again, but that black humor that gets you through the gnarly times, and Derek's personality isn't necessarily like that, where Rick would use it to default to kind of get out of situations, and it's just kind of his go-to characteristic. But Derek is gonna, not, if he sees the opportunity for a layup to really, zing you, he's not going to let it go by. He is a Marine. He is going to go in there and tell you that you're a moron when he gets the chance to, and hopefully in a more colorful way than that. So yeah, otherwise he's just this kind of rumbling, quiet, introverted gorilla, not just
if Derek
ready to rip your
ever,
limbs off, that kind of guy.
100 humans versus one Derek Harrington. What would the internet have to say about that?
But good challenge.
If Derek was ever to go over to the other side and become a kind of assassin for hire, I think he'd be a candidate that Rick would love to work with, because he'd be very placeable. He'd be in demand. He's efficient. He gets the job done. He knows what he's doing. It's somebody that he can make a lot of money off of. But I also think Rick would piss Derek off constantly with the clash of person. It'd be like Derek would tolerate Rick because he's lining his pockets, but he would really dread the next phone call. Can you just tell me where I have to be, and
just
then
get off
up.
the phone,
Just get off the
please.
phone.
Just tell me who I have to kill, Rick.
Exactly.
For fuck's sake.
See,
There's my one.
I see emerging. I see a crossover here.
There we go.
I was going to say, we are making magic here tonight. I sense a short story coming on,
Take that.
Maybe not an assassin, but I'm sure we could find a way to cross-pollinate that for certain.
There's got to be. We'll put our heads together over 4 or 7 beers. And
Maybe
we'll come up with it.
4 or 7, such random numbers.
Okay, so here's something. Greg, don't take this the wrong way. You and I know each other a little bit, but I'm going to say something that is really going to make people go, what? I think about you all the time.
I thought it was just me and you.
So here's the
fact
thing.
that you're saying that with a shower curtain behind you also is very telling.
Do you guys need me to step out for a little
curtain.
bit? Is Celine Dion about to come on? Do I need to step out? I mean, I'm cool with it. You guys do what you got to do. But
And someone said cross-pollinate. So, all right. So I know I brought this up with you before.
Have the sandwich going in the pre-show, okay?
I don't know what you're talking about, but this is how I keep these books together on my shelf.
Same here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just like that.
Yep.
Sure.
So you guys belong on the show together. All right. So my question, or not really a question as much of a comment and a
You were going to
question.
share something embarrassing about me or
Yes,
something,
you
right?
think about each other all the time.
Think about me all the time.
Yeah,
Right.
because here's the thing. I love going to estate sales, and we've got some great old houses here in Northwest Ohio. And we pop around, and you won't believe some of the crazy shit you see in people's houses once they've moved out or moved on. It's like, whoa. But something that comes across quite a bit is an overflowing box of CDs.
I knew
And I
you were
always
going
wonder. I know I bring this up all the time because it just happens. How many CDs are you up to now? Am I going to keep texting you whenever I find a collection that you might think is marvelous? And
Probably. Yeah,
I see
CDs
these
are
and like,
yeah.
Greg.
Yeah, CDs are my love language for sure. I would say I'm up to about 1,300 now, if I had to
Oh!
guesstimate it. Yeah, probably.
Jesus.
I actually here. You want to know how lame I am? I had to clear DVDs off of my shelf to make room for the CDs. So I had to get rid of one outdated form of media to replace with another outdated form of media.
So
on my
wait, so
shelf.
you not only own 1,300 CDs, but you have 1,300 CDs on display for everybody.
Oh,
to see?
they're in my back room on display for everybody, like a library. 100%.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. Excellent.
That's like
Absolutely.
me getting rid of a Valpolicella for a Valpolicella Ripasso.
Now, see,
It's
that
like, come
makes you
on.
sound cool. The
Yeah.
CDs
It
Makes
makes you
it
sound
sound-
pretentious.
the opposite.
Listen, between the two mediums, there's one that's, lasted thousands of years, and there's one that Greg is trying to perpetuate.
You know?
And I'm going to say the wine is probably going to be the champion in that one.
So the
So how-
CDs come because I hosted a radio show in college. I wanted to get into radio when I was in college. That was my first love. And I became very much of an audio snob about it. And so I actually can hear when you listen to anything on streaming, it's all compressed. The high end and the low end are compressed to make it tighter so you can fit more and it can stream quicker. And in CDs, you don't do that. You have the full range of sound. And I hear that and I enjoy that. Vinyl's the best. Vinyl is hand down the best. But I listen to most of my CDs in my car. So if they have a record player for your car, I'd be buying vinyl. They don't. So
I thought you were going to
CDs.
say I listen to vinyl in the car.
No, that would be. It's strapped to the roof. I've got the head
I'm still
jack
wrapped
coming
around the fact that he said he plays his CDs a car. How old is your car, bro?
So I had to recently get a new car last year. My 2012 Fusion died
okay.
when I ran it into another car. And I had to get a new car. And I rolled up to the dealership and I looked at the guy straight on and I said, I swear to God, my only requirement is it has to have a CD player. And he went, well, let me check. And he clacked it on his computer like, we have two. So I looked at both and I picked the one that I got. And I'm very happy with my CD player in
Wow.
my car.
Okay. Hats off to you. I thought for a second you were going to have like the Discman with the cassette adapter.
I had that
goes in. Yeah, I think
with
everybody
a little
had
wire
it.
that came
The problem
out.
is you still have it. That's the problem.
I will listen to music on streaming. There is a playlist on Spotify for The Recruiter. It's the soundtrack to the book.
Nice.
The songs in there are either appear in the song or they're a song that I think fits with the tone. So I do listen to streaming, but when I have something I really want to enjoy, it's a CD. So,
That's cool.
I'm going to drop the link to that playlist onto the show notes for this so people can check
Please
that
do.
out. What was Jarek Harrington's playlist? Halls of Montezuma, Shorts Tripoli, just on
He was
repeat?
he's an 80s rock guy. Right?
Yeah, I'd say he's kind of a Metallica, Guns N' Roses kind of guy.
For sure.
I thought you were going to say Madonna.
There was
No, that's Rick.
no. I did a
Material Girl.
I think it might have been for Forge's blog, Tor Forge, the publisher of the books. I think I did a guest blog for them when the Infiltrator was coming out, and they asked me to do like a playlist, so like some of the songs that would be on there. And for the life of me, I can't remember, but it was in the vein of Metallica and Guns N' Roses, like I just said. The one song I do remember because I consider it Derek's theme song was the cover of Bad Company by Five Finger Death Punch, and that was like, wow,
There you go.
That was like the one where I would hear that, I'm in the shower and I'd hear that song come on, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, Derek's about to do this. Like that was always his theme song.
Nice.
So, Greg,
Let's
do you
be
have
honest,
that
we all do
MCD?
our best. We all do our best thinking in the shower.
I do not have Five Finger Death Punch. Five Finger Death Punch was a drink I had in college. It's not a CD that I own. So,
That was called the Mule Kick.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, we'll get another question here. Greg, you wrote much of the Recruiter from the comfort of a lazy boy.
Yes, sir.
Is that just emblematic of your style, or have you graduated? Have you graduated to a grand office with an ornate French oak desk with a bunch of those little drawers for all of your keepsakes?
No, I have a grand office with a Darth Vader Ruckers helmet that my buddy puked in and then cleaned out and gave to me. That's how I've upgraded. from the Lazy Boy.
I'm glad he cleaned it out first.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was his party gift when he moved out to Arizona, and my son came out one day wearing it when he was like 10 years old. And I went, I'm going to tell you a story about that one day when you're older. But let's take that off for right now.
Yeah, it's really.
So the Lazy Boy was
hysterical.
just a function of when I wrote it, which was during COVID. And I mean, nobody left their house. So it was at night, kids and the wife were asleep. I sat in the Lazy Boy and I just cranked out about 1,000 words a night. 6
Nice.
nights a week, Since then, I've written more. I tend to write during the day, so it'll be in the office or it'll be like at a Barnes & Noble on my lunch break or something. But the Lazy Boy actually is honestly where I edit. It's weird. I don't know why, but I just find, because I read there, like that's my chair where I have the book on the table and the nightstand and the light with the little table. And so maybe because I read other books there, when I read my book to edit, I feel like I need to be there. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, there's only one written in the Lazy Boy.
All right, so here's one of the reasons that I contacted you out of the blue and started to stalk everything about you I could. On your website, you have 2 truths and a lie. And there was a lot on your website that made me think, I have got to get to know this guy. And we hung out in Thriller Fest a year ago. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. Because so 2 truths and a lie. Before we were dating, my wife drove my car at 35 miles an hour down a 2-lane road while I clung to the roof. My buddy in the backseat was the only one who thought it was a bad idea at the time. Number 2, when I was 5 years old, my parents were approached by a talent scout for a child modeling agency that wanted to sign me, but they didn't want me to get wrapped up in that life and politely turned them down. I personally think I would have doubled as a Oshkosh bagosh sales in the 90s had things turned out differently. So the third one is I started a food fight in the stands of a college football game. A friend from high school called me later that day to say he saw me on TV because the game was so boring. The ESPN cameras cut to the live food fight nearly 30 seconds before going to commercial. 2 truths and a lie.
Yes.
What do you got, Tim?
But this is difficult. So number one is definitely a truth. And then
It's totally Greg. 35 miles an hour
Greg,
on the roof of a car.
And anybody that would marry Greg, it would have to be just as crazy. So that
Well, you're trying to ditch me early. Yeah.
But so it's very hard for me to believe that guy would be a child model. But it's also hard for me to believe that ESPN would be covering a Rutgers game at all.
Well, they're playing Ohio State, so that was why.
And like where they were playing Ohio State. Is that what it was?
Syracuse,
Rutgers.
It was McNabb era Syracuse, if it matters.
All right. Well, then, since you just volunteered that information, I'm going to say that number 2 is the lie, seeing that you gave those pertinent details. And
you were already leaning that way. So we're going to...
Yeah, because, I mean...
Yeah. The modeling agency thing was somebody actually approached us about my daughter when she was about 4 years old.
Makes sense.
And we said, no, thank you, because we don't want her to do anything like that. There is no way in hell a modeling scout would ever look at me and go, that guy. We want that kid in our overalls on the cover of whatever magazine was out in the 1980s.
This is the face that's going to sell baby.
I'm thinking at that age, you're probably like cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch.
So for the longest time, I had like jet white albino hair until I was about 7 years old, maybe. Okay. And then it started to turn blonde and then brown. But yeah, I was a little towhead running around for a long time. So yeah.
Well,
still has a beard though. The beard came in about 2 years old. So.
I knew number 1 was the truth because I had a feeling that car had a CD player in it.
No, the car actually had a tape deck in it. It was a 1984 Buick Regal.
Yes, those could haul a little bit.
Well, so this was when the speedometer hit 85. If you went a little above it, a light came on that said, "What the hell are you doing?" And it started to shake back and forth. And my favorite part about
go back to the future when it hit 88 miles.
Never got that high. I couldn't take it. My favorite part about that car.
Get out of town, Tim.
Was every time you turned right, the horn honked. And I discovered that as I was turning in front of a dude in a pickup truck who seriously looked like he could have been Derek Harrington. And I had to somehow motion because I couldn't talk to him because I was driving. There's no way, there's no universal signal for the horn honks every time I turn right. So I'm doing all this shit. And I finally just pulled over and went out and had to disconnect the horn. So yeah. I love that car.
You should see him when he drives the Sturgis.
How has that detail not made it into your books yet?
Oh, well, eventually. I'm sure it's too good not to.
Yeah, yes, it absolutely
that has
to be. You know, like he boosts a car to get away from something, but now he can only make left turns.
That is 100% going in the next book. All right, you got yourself a shout out in the acknowledgments, my friend.
He's
That is 100%.
He's trying to get away from the people looking to kill him, and he makes a right turn. He thinks he's gotten away. He makes a right turn. He honks. Now they're coming after him. That is so Rick Carter.
I will absolutely be using that.
Almighty!
Yes.
That is so perfect.
I think we've written half the sequel here for
Right. We got some work to do after this thing ends.
Well, guys, we could go on for hours, but we're on the short form podcast here. I love you guys, and everyone listening and watching on YouTube, get to know these guys. I mean, go to GreggPodolski.com. That's 2 G's, technically 3, but GreggPodolski.com and trhendricksauthor.com. Check these guys out. Their books are amazing. I have them here. They're fantastic, and dudes, I can't wait to see you again. Who's going to VoucherCon?
Yeah,
You're going, right?
I signed up for it. It's my first one ever. Just on a whim. I was looking at the prices and flights and everything, and it worked out. You know, days off and everything. It worked out. So I'm doing Thriller Fest at the end of June, and then VoucherCon for my first time. I'll be down there.
Yeah, I will be at Thriller Fest. I wanted to do VoucherCon this year, but my son's Little League team is doing a trip to Cooperstown to the Hall of Fame and everything.
That's
so
cool.
We're doing that instead. I'm going to shoot for VoucherCon next year. But definitely looking forward to seeing Tim in a panel. And a little jealous I won't be up there with you again this year, man, because that panel was so much fun last year.
That was a good one, yeah, for sure.
Well, let me just throw this out. The panel you did last year at Thriller Fest was so flipping cool with the fight scene.
It was so good. It was so much fun.
It came up on a podcast that I just broadcast out recently, and I can't remember.
Melinda name dropped it, right? Melinda?
Yeah, she talked about it. She talked about
dropped it.
We were talking to somebody else.
Shared it. I not only shared it, but I did the exact minute and second drop when it came in because
you did.
It's all about me. So I shared it exactly as like, don't pay attention to the rest of this shit. Go to 11 minutes and 20 seconds and then turn it off.
Hey, that still lives in people's memories, and I have video of it. So, that's fantastic. Whoever wins a copy of the book, I will get them a copy of the video on top of everything else.
Nice.
So,
how are we gonna How are we gonna do the giveaway?
Yeah. It'll be in the show notes. How about that?
Okay, good idea.
So
I was going to say,
you gotta read the show notes
or something. You know, yeah, okay.
We'll get together. So there you go. Go to YouTube or any of the audio streaming platforms. This podcast is everywhere. Read the show notes. Figure out how to get a free copy of this one right here, The Instructor, and Tim himself will get you something on top of that, and I will get you a copy of the video we're talking about with Gregg, which was a huge hit at Thriller Fest. So
yeah, it was a banger.
It was a banger. Guys, everyone out there, please like, follow, and subscribe. Find these guys on social media. They're also out there everywhere. And if you're going to Thriller Fest or VoucherCon, please just walk up and say hi. It would be great to see everybody. And that's it. That's all I got. I know I'm forgetting something, but guys, tons of thanks. Thanks for coming on the Dossier Podcast.
Time, man.
And yeah, people go to writersdossier.com and get to know these guys. Their stuff is out there.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks
Appreciate
again,
it,
Jeff.
My pleasure. See you guys. Bye, everybody. The Dossier Podcast is a production of The Idea Academy.